Welcome to this exploration of whether you should cycle off your pre workout. Many athletes wonder if they should take breaks from their supplements, but there's a lot of confusion about when and why. Today, I'm going to break down the myths and facts around cycling off pre workout formulas and help you understand what your body actually needs. We'll cover the science of tolerance, recognize warning signs, and look at ingredients that don't require a reset. We'll also discuss how to take a break safely, how to train without stimulants, and strategies for using pre workout responsibly. By the end, you'll feel confident in your ability to manage your supplement routine. Let's begin by outlining the topics we'll cover. Here's how we're going to navigate this question. First, we'll talk about why so many people think they need to cycle their pre workout, often thanks to marketing hype, influencer challenges, and misunderstandings about jitters. Then we'll dig into the science of stimulant tolerance so you know what's happening inside your nervous system. We'll learn how to recognize warning signs that it's time for a break, and we'll look at which ingredients don't require cycling because they work through saturation rather than stimulation. From there, we'll discuss when and how long you might need to cycle off, how to do it safely and effectively, and how to train without a pre workout. We'll wrap up with safety guidelines, a smart strategy for pre workout use, and key takeaways. Many people believe they need to cycle off their pre workout because of the messages they hear. Advertisements and influencer posts often suggest that bigger doses equate to bigger gains. So when you stop feeling tingles or jitters, you assume your supplement no longer works. Those sensations are misinterpreted as proof that it's doing something extraordinary. There's also a fear of tolerance or dependence that leads athletes to impose breaks without understanding which ingredients are causing the issue. Influencers sometimes share extreme detox challenges that dramatize stimulant withdrawal, and that confusion spills over into thinking every ingredient needs a reset. In this section, we'll unpack these misconceptions to clarify why they exist and who benefits from them. Now let's examine the science behind tolerance. To understand whether cycling is necessary, you need to know what happens when you regularly consume high stim formulas. Caffeine and similar stimulants block adenosine receptors in your brain. Adenosine normally acts as a brake on neural activity, so blocking it makes you feel alert and energized. But when you expose your nervous system to frequent high doses, it adapts by producing more adenosine receptors. In other words, your central nervous system upregulates its own brakes, so the same scoop yields less effect over time. That's why you feel diminished results and reach for bigger scoops. Tolerance is a natural adaptation, not a failure of the product. Understanding this mechanism prepares us to discuss how and when to reset your stimulant intake. Tolerance develops surprisingly fast. Most people notice a drop in the effects of their pre-workout within as little as 2 weeks of consistent use. That's because your body is busy making more adenosine receptors to catch up. To reset those receptors, you need to give your nervous system a break. A common approach is to cycle high-stim pre-workouts on for 4 weeks and off for 2 weeks. Others use a broader range of 4 to 8 weeks on followed by 1 to 2 weeks off, depending on how high their daily caffeine intake is. Taking at least 1 or 2 weeks completely off caffeine allows your receptor density to return to baseline, restoring your sensitivity and making smaller doses effective again. Up next, I'll show you how to recognize when it's time to take that break. Not sure if it's time to step away from your stim-heavy pre-workout? There are clear red flags to watch for. If your usual scoop doesn't give you any kick and you find yourself doubling the dose just to feel something, your body is signaling that tolerance has set in. Persistent jitteriness, anxiety, digestive upset, or headaches are further signs that your nervous system is overtaxed. Mood swings, irritability, and a post-workout crash that leaves you mentally flat are also warning signs. Lingering fatigue despite supplementation, trouble falling or staying asleep, and a pounding pulse or heart palpitations point to overstimulation. Finally, if you need stimulants just to function day to day, it's time to take a break. Next, we'll see which ingredients you don't have to worry about cycling. Not every compound in your pre-workout requires cycling. Some ingredients work through saturation and ongoing storage rather than acute stimulation. Creatine, for example, increases your muscle's phosphocreatine stores, allowing faster regeneration of ATP. Beta-alanine raises carnosine levels in muscle tissue, buffering acidity during intense efforts. L-citrulline boosts nitric oxide production, improving blood flow and nutrient delivery. Because your body stores and uses these nutrients steadily, there's no need to reset the receptors. Electrolytes, sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium, and betaine support hydration and osmotic balance, which underpins sustainable energy rather than a spike. Understanding this difference helps you focus your cycling efforts on stimulants while consistently supplementing the ingredients that build real performance. Next, let's discuss when it actually makes sense to cycle. Cycling off stimulants isn't always necessary, but there are situations where it makes sense. If you regularly exceed 300 to 400 milligrams of caffeine per day from all sources, coffee, energy drinks, and your pre workout, your nervous system is likely overworked. Using a high stim pre workout for 4 to 8 weeks straight without a break can also lead to pronounced tolerance, especially if you notice the warning signs we covered earlier. You might see your sleep quality decline, your mood take a hit, or your recovery slow down. Needing multiple sources of caffeine just to get through the day is another red flag. When these conditions apply, it's time to plan a reset. Next, we'll discuss how long that reset should be. When it comes to taking a break, there are two primary approaches. A minimum reset involves a 1 to 2 week break from all stimulants. During this time, reduce or eliminate caffeine entirely and expect mild headaches or fatigue as your body recalibrates. For a deeper reset, extend that break to 2 to 4 weeks. Use stim-free formulas or pump products to maintain blood flow and focus without triggering more adenosine receptors. Focus on sleep quality, balanced nutrition, and consistent hydration so that your body's natural energy systems are supported. The length of your break should be based on how much caffeine you usually consume and how severe your tolerance symptoms are. Next, let's cover how to implement this reset in a way that sets you up for success. Cycling off successfully means more than simply quitting caffeine. Start by stopping all high stim pre workouts and caffeinated drinks for at least 14 days. In their place, use pump or stim free formulas to support blood flow and endurance without overloading your nervous system. Stay hydrated, prioritize quality sleep, and focus on eating nutrient dense foods to keep your body fueled. When your break is over, reintroduce caffeine gradually at lower doses than before. You'll be surprised how effective a small amount can be once your receptors have reset. Going forward, rotate between stimulant and non-stimulant formulas to prevent building tolerance again. These simple steps can help you manage your stimulant intake responsibly. Next, let's talk about training without pre-workout. Training without a pre-workout can feel daunting if you're used to that immediate kick, but it's actually an opportunity to recalibrate your sense of effort. Without stimulants, you'll learn to pace yourself based on your breathing, heart rate, and internal cues rather than external buzz. This builds mental resilience because you prove to yourself that you don't need a supplement to perform. Focus on thorough warm-ups, deliberate breathing, and staying hydrated during your session. Fuel your workouts with real foods like bananas, oats, or dates, and if you want a mild boost, a cup of coffee can be enough. Reserve pre-workout for your toughest or longest sessions so it feels like a special tool, not a crutch. Up next, we'll talk about moderation and safety when using any supplement, whether you're on or off a pre-workout. Staying safe and using supplements responsibly is crucial. The Food and Drug Administration recommends keeping your total caffeine intake under 400 milligrams per day. Exceeding that can lead to anxiety, heart palpitations, digestive upset, and other unwanted side effects. Remember that caffeine adds up quickly. Coffee, energy drinks, sodas, and your pre-workout all contribute to the total. Always read the labels carefully because many pre-workouts contain between 250 and 400 milligrams per scoop. Look for products that are third-party verified and avoid proprietary blends that hide ingredient amounts. Safety and moderation should always be the foundation of your supplement strategy. Now let's look at how to build a smart pre-workout routine. Developing a smart pre-workout strategy means using these products judiciously. Save your pre-workout for the toughest or longest sessions where you truly need the extra focus and energy. Rotate between stimulant and non-stimulant formulas to support blood flow and endurance without overloading your nervous system. Keep caffeine doses moderate and factor in other sources so you don't exceed safe levels. Plan periodic deload weeks where you reduce training volume and stimulants, allowing your body to recover. Most importantly, choose products with transparent labels and clinical doses so you know exactly what you're getting. This thoughtful approach ensures that pre-workouts remain effective tools rather than crutches. Let's conclude with the key points you should remember. As we wrap up, keep these takeaways in mind. Stimulant tolerance builds quickly, so cycling off targets caffeine rather than all ingredients. Watch for signs like jitters, sleep disruption, needing larger scoops or multiple caffeine sources, and persistent fatigue. Non-stimulant ingredients such as creatine, beta-alanine, and citrulline don't require cycling because they build up in your system and support sustainable performance. Plan breaks of 1 to 2 weeks or, if needed, 2 to 4 weeks using pump products during resets. Finally, moderation, transparent labels, and strategic use will keep your supplements effective and your training enjoyable. Thank you for your attention. With these strategies, you can confidently manage your pre-workout use and keep your workouts feeling strong and steady.